Hello YouTube, this is episode 25 of my Feed the Beast companion series. What's going on? It's just kind of at the tail end of that episode when I came back through to the overworld. I had to come across a combustion engine explosion. Not quite sure why I had a combustion engine explosion. Everything in my setup seemed stable and I had a chunk loader. The chunk loader is set up to load 3 chunks, which is enough to chunk load my tank. If you look at the map, that bright white square on the map, that's my tank, and it's big enough to load that, but it didn't seem like it failed to load the chunk, this chunk here, because yeah, one of my engines, I guess, didn't receive enough water. It heated to a point where it exploded. Doesn't make any sense. I did look at the accumulator after setting this back up again, and it does dip by almost a full bucket, but it doesn't ever run out while the chunk's loaded and I'm in it. So when I set this back up, I did some tweaking of the pipes to clean it up just a bit, and I built these glass tanks. They're just glass Buildcraft tanks. These tanks hold 16 buckets per tank, and I've stacked 4 up. So that's a decent amount of water that's available if for some reason the aqueous accumulator is not running like it's supposed to, or like it does when I'm here. Hoping that will fix the problem, prevent any future explosions. I have no idea if it's going to work, but here's hoping. Also did some minor tweaking of hookups here just to clean it up a little bit. I did tweak the smelter with a secondary output in the back for this setup that's right here. So you've seen these things built before, so I didn't bother doing my cam. We've got transposers, we've got fabricators, nothing super new there. The way I'm using them though is kind of cool. I've got my barrel of cobble, which was like right here before. I moved it to here, and I put a transposer here, and when my induction furnace runs out of sand, it will pull 1 unit of cobblestone out via an iron gate in the back that's detecting the slot. When it's empty, it'll send a pulse. It'll push out the sand into this chest here, and then this fabricator will also receive a pulse. It's configured for pulse, so when it receives a redstone signal, it'll only run once. It'll produce 1 grass block, and it'll use the cobblestone that's next door to it. This fabricator will use the grass that's next to it and produce 1 sand, because it's also set to pulse. And at the same time, the transposer back here will push out 1 sand from the fabricator into the back of the machine, replacing the sand. So as soon as we get a block of sand, if I catch a block coming through, here's one right now. Alright, there's a sand here, the cycle will start, sand will disappear, and before we're even a third of the way into the cycle, it's already replaced the sand. So this system will work perfectly without worrying about how much mats I have available, because I'm always going to have cobblestone available. If that ever runs low, I could just turn off the void pipes, send cobblestone in until that sucker's full. The only thing I have to pay attention to is these 2 minimum stones. I want to make sure that the minimum stones don't die out. I can throw more minimum stones in here. I actually had a chest over here that I broke because the minimum stones weren't even being used. So I could potentially put these minimum stones in, and as long as there are minimum stones in these, available to these 2 fabricators, they'll continue to fabricate. I should get 8 sand per minimum stone. Not 8 sand, I should get 800 sand per minimum stone. The damage value of minimum stone, I think, is like 15 to 1600. I'm pretty sure it's 1600 is when the minimum stone breaks. So there's 2 fabricators, so that cuts the usage, or that doubles the usage. So I should get 800 sand per. And that's a lot of ingots. I should get 800 ingots per minimum stone. So I've got, 32 or 3,200 ingots worth of production here. and I think that's worth it. Also, of course, as normal, I'm going to get rich slag when the smelter runs. I'd lost the chest that had the slag in it, and while this setup was running, I got 22 more, and I put those in there, and it seems like only when I run rich slag do I ever get regular slag as a byproduct. And of course, regular slag is used for rock wool, which is just like wool, but it can't burn. I don't know if that's even a big deal to anyone specifically. Maybe on multiplayer it is, but the rich slag is definitely nice. Triple the output. You get an extra ingot for every rich slag, so it's really cool. That's the setup. The changes, the tweaks that you might have missed. I want to talk a little bit about my future plans. I really don't plan on building anything this episode, but I'd like to tell you where I'm headed. So here's a Direwolf 20 pack on Feed the Beast. Just a list of mods. So we'll just go over what we've covered already. I've done quite a bit of the buildcraft. I dare to say I haven't done everything, but we've done quarries, mining wells. No, we didn't. We didn't do mining wells. Mining wells they're like a quarry that's only one block, goes down straight one block. No. Mining well, yeah, and they're used heavily in automated machines. I've actually created in TechKit a mining well machine. What's cool about the way it used to work is if you move the machine with frames, it'll continue to mine in the second location. You move it to third location, it'll continue to mine. The downside, of course, is it would take power regardless if it was running or not. So that was a big downside. So it could burn through 25 MJ per tick constantly, even if it was already at bedrock, which was a downside. But you could move it, and it would instantly start mining again. You move it again, instantly start mining again. They've fixed it a little bit, so when it hits bedrock, it stops drawing power. But also, you can't just move it. You have to break it before you move it again. Whereas with frames, you could potentially move it without needing to break it. So it adds a little bit of complexity to a setup that I used to have for TechKit. But, with changes come improvements, right? So there are machines out there that can break and move. Direwolf 20's setup did it with, machines, which is cool, and that's probably the route I'm going to go. I just don't do a lot of computer craft or anything like that, so I'll just be using his setup for it. So machines that we haven't done the mining well, but we did the pump, did the quarry, automatic crafting table. I'm actually using the Zycraft's equivalent. I'm using these fabricators. The benefit to using the fabricators comes when you don't need to pump stuff into it, because it will draw stuff from nearby inventories. You still have to pump stuff out, but it's a little bit better off. It's easier to put recipes into. You don't have to lose mats to create the recipe, to generate the recipe, I don't think. So I actually like that over the auto crafting tables. They're my preference, I think. So probably one of the reasons why you won't see me do an automatic crafting table. Refinery. I'm already doing a refinery. That's refining my oil. I've already done combustion engines. You just saw those red tanks that were holding the water. That's a Buildcraft tank. Engines. I've done the. I haven't done every single engine, but I've done a good chunk of them. And the ones I haven't used. Let's see, which ones haven't I used? Use more than just Buildcraft tanks, engines, but okay. I've used the redstone engine. I've used. I think no, I haven't used a steam or a Stirling yet. Combustion engine you've seen me use. I haven't used an electrical because I haven't generated EU over MJ, mainly MJ over EU. Biogas, no, although I could potentially use it. I'm turning biogas into biofuel instead. Peat fired, that's strictly something I could use with the forestry, but I would have to create a peat bog, and the tree farm is enough early on for me just to go with a charcoal powered over a peat bog, or peat fired. So I went with charcoal using steam engines rather than a peat fired engine, I mean. So I kind of skipped that engine. Now I like the magmatic. If I ever run out of fuels, then I could potentially just pipe in lava from the nether and run it. These will output 4 MJ, which isn't bad. Fuel in a combustion engine is 6. Biofuel is 5. This would be my next option, magmatic, and it's 4 MJ. And it's not per se renewable, but it's really easy to get in the nether. And I could even create ages using Mistcraft that turn oceans into lava, and I could create an ocean age where it's just ocean covered, and it could potentially be an almost near infinite source. Of course, I could just create a new age if modified slightly to create a new one if I ever ran out. So it's an option. Bluetricity engines. This requires that lightning is not local. I'm playing the sound through my speakers. Bluetricity, I don't make enough of it. I've got that little itty bitty setup just for the thing, and I've even played around on a test world, creating those big, huge Bluetricity windmills and other Bluetricity sources. And even though the output is super high at 23, you have to have basically a Bluetricity battery full and keep it full to get anywhere near that. So, and then you have to use special high voltage wiring, and it's like really complicated. So I haven't gone with those engines purely for those reasons I just stated. Pipes, I use tons of pipes. I think I've used just about every pipe. I haven't used the sandstone pipe. And I just haven't. I think they're good for linking cobblestone with stone, and I haven't really. You could use iron pipes and a bunch of other things to do that. I even managed to do some emerald pipes that aren't a part of this mod. See, filler. I played around with the filler initially, and I still have it. Builder. I have never done a builder. And it's a cool idea with the blueprints. You can like build one thing and have the builder create a blueprint, or there's a blueprint machine you can create, and you could use it to replicate, but I haven't had any need to replicate and build anything. Although, Direwolf 20 had a cool idea where he used a robot to build a house for the NPC village. And if you create a new house, you get a new villager. Maybe doing a builder and blueprint setup where I could quickly build a bunch of cottages for them would be a cool idea. I don't know how it'll work, but something to try out. Why not? Architect table allows you to copy and volume of interest. I guess more to do with blueprints. Landmarks, of course, that's part of the quarry. Gates. I've been doing a lot of different gates. I don't know if I've done them all. I mean, but the difference between them are kind of like the difference between redstone and gates, or gates, this, that, and the other. It's very minor difference between the gates. It mainly has to do with how many different types of inputs and outputs, or if you need combinations of inputs and outputs to send your redstone pulse. So, yeah, I probably won't get into all the gates, but I've done the most useful ones, I think. Okay, gears are purely used for fabricating, so I've done a decent amount of that. Chicken bones, chicken. I've done the ender storage. I think I've done all the types of ender storage now. I've done the bag, I've done the chest, and I've done the tank. Let's see. So tank, there's the bag, there's the chest. So basically, I've covered that pretty well. Let's see, what else was in there? Chicken chunks. What is this? Oh, it's the anchor. Single block added by chicken chunks, the chunk loader. Yeah, the chunk loader, and there's a spot loader too, which they don't mention here. I think is also part of the same mod, and those are really cool. I'm making use of those over the newer anchors, because I think the anchors use ender pearls or something like that. They burn ender pearls 1 per hour or something like that, which I could potentially do if there weren't, you know, spot loaders and the others. I could convert stuff into its iron into ender pearls, but I'm going to use that instead. Wireless redstone. I do plan on doing a little bit of wireless redstone. I want a way to turn off the engines when a quarry is done, so we don't waste fuel. And I'll do a wireless transmitter and receiver to do that. I'm not going to worry about the sniffer and all the other stuff. Just a wireless transmitter and receiver is probably all I'll get into. Let's see, not enough items, that's part of the GUI. Computer craft, I'm going to say probably no. Other than the turtles, which I'm not going to try and create programming, but I'll build the turtles and download the programming. So kind of a equivalent exchange. There isn't much to it, but I've used pretty much every part of it. The minimum stones and the inert stone, and creating the cool stuff with the minimum stone, convert mats around. Which, although I really miss the energy condensers, I really like the stones as a way to get around the energy condenser. Works pretty well. I just wish there were more combinations, recipes. I'd love to have a recipe for copper. Some combination that would give me copper, because that's more difficult than almost any other ingot, really. It seems like, you know, I never seem to have enough copper for me to be happy, although I seem to have a lot now. Extra large biomes, I don't know exactly, other than maybe trees and stuff that came with this. I don't know if there's any tools or anything. Yeah, it's just biomes and trees and stuff. No, it's just purely just biomes. Okay. Extra blocks. Okay. Cattail, cracked sand. Okay. Nothing really. This red cobblestone, I've seen a biome with this, and then I found out that red cobblestone can produce 4 clay, 3 buckets of water, and some cobblestone can produce clay. Clay balls could potentially be used to turn into diamonds and stuff. It seems like a shortcut, and I thought that was pretty cool. If I come across another one of those biomes, I'll definitely look to set up a quarry there. So that's the extra biomes. What else we have in this mod? Factorization. Check this out. I know factorization is included in a couple things I've already done. The barrel, basically one of them. Pocket crafting table, I can use the minimum stone for the same thing. Craft packet and stamper I've already used to make the diamond shards. Magnets. It's like, well, okay, this is part of, I think, the factorization's whole smelting and aspect, the maceration and smelting. They've got their own energy system as well, and it uses what's called charge. So it kind of does the same thing as other mods do, and then it's got a whole nother power system associated with it, which is why I haven't quite got into it. I don't think I will either. It does offer a 300% output, but that's not guaranteed. Just like, you know, when you get there's like a 20% chance of getting the higher quality slag that triple your output. It's not guaranteed. It's 25%. Same thing with this. 300% is not guaranteed. It's a potential of. And one of these machines, I think it's the crystallizer, it has 20-minute long cycles. You could run 5 jobs in the 20-minute cycle, but it's so slow I couldn't see using it. You'd have to have like 10 crystallizers to keep up with the quarry. The RAS stuff I've used a lot of. I don't know how much RAS stuff I haven't covered. Igniter I've used, iron I've used, router I've used, the lamp I've used, bag of holding. Can store parts of your inventory for you. Bag of holding moves columns. So it's a lot like an ender pouch, kind of same idea, I think. I mean, the mats are kind of similar when I just glance at it. Alright, so best place to put your bag of holding depends on how many columns it stores. Depending on the fourth column. I don't know. I might make it to check it out. I mean, it's not that difficult. Ingots, iron, and the pearls. I could totally make that. So I'll probably will in the future. Just to check it out. Logic matrix. Oh, this is that logic matrix programmer. It's used in logic. No, I don't remember making that. Oh, I'll have to go back and look. I've got so many of them. I made some long ago. They have their own cool little set of armor, exosuit. I'm kind of happy with the nano I have. I kind of, there's a couple different suits I could make in Direwolf, and I kind of want to check them all out. This is the factorization version, and then they've got a couple other like minor things. So that's kind of factorization. I've done quite a bit of it, I think. So I'm happy with that. Forestry. I've relied pretty heavily on forestry, and it's something I've never done before. This is the first time I've done it, and I'm kind of liking it. The logger, forester, arborate I've done. Combine and farm I've already done. There are other types of farms which I don't see any huge benefit to it. I mean, like a rainmaker for water collection. Yeah. Cactus, I really don't need so much cactus. I've got plenty of. I've got a way to make cactus more than I need without worrying about it. Peat production, that's for the peat bog and the peat fired engines. I'm not doing that, so that's kind of sugarcane. I've got plenty of paper. I could make sugarcane pretty quick without too much hassle. Mushrooms, I potentially like make stew and stuff, but I've got enough meat. Pumpkins, netherwort, infernal, just other types of farms. And of course the beekeeping is a part of this. Carpenter I've made. Moistener I haven't, but that's part, I think, of the peat bog. The thermoelectric fabricator I've made. Biogas engine I haven't, and I might not end up doing it because I'm upgrading my biofuel to bio. Yeah. This is the same MJ output as a combustion engine, but I won't need to worry about the lava to start it up. So unless this miraculously uses less, puts out more MJ and uses less input, I don't know. Maybe I'll test it out and see if it's worth it, but I can't see it being worth it just for the fact that I need to have lava available to start it up. And if I put it in a setup that turns on and off often enough, it's going to be just a hassle. So probably not doing that particular engine. Peat fire engine, no. Electrical, no. That's EU based, turns into MGA. Squeezer, that's going to be, I think, for the apples. Use it to make apple juice, I think. Yeah, here's the combinations. It's also used in beekeeping. All the propolis that you can turn into other stuff. But apple or apple drops into apple juice. And I think you drink apple juice. And it's kind of like eating. It gives you food, I think. Food points. So it's not anything huge with it other than what I'm using it for. Unless you're doing beekeeping, of course. Still I'm using fermenter. I think I'm using, right? Yeah, this creates the biogas. Okay. Bottler. I think that's for making the apple juice. Yeah, it puts liquids into cans, basically. So you make apple juice with it. So I will probably end up making one of these when I do mess around with the apple juice that I have. Go back. I think that's about it, though, basically. Oh, the biogenerator. This is a way of taking MJ and turning it into EU. So if I do have a need for EU and I haven't made those solar cells yet, the compact solars, then I could potentially use my MJ to create EU. So that's kind of cool, I think. So where am I? Okay, so that's that. Backpacks I've already done. I'm currently only using the one for NPC loot drops, just because NPC loot is kind of a pain. Let's see. These are just resources, crafting resources, types of liquids that you could store, tools. Scoop is for beekeeping. Wrench I'm not using. Survivalist pickaxe. Okay. Sorry, shoveler. Beealizer. Okay, that's all for bees. Treealizers for trees. Food. Okay. Alright. So that's cool. So I've done a fair bit of that. Industrial craft, compact solars I'm going to do. I don't have GregTech installed, or if it is a part of the mod, it's not enabled. So I have the default recipes, which makes compact solars so much more useful. Compact solars without GregTech produces 8 EU for low voltage. Low voltage is just basic solar panels and a low voltage transformer. And solar panels are just this stuff. So generator, glass, circuit, and gunpowder. No, coal dust. I don't know why I thought it was gunpowder. And then you step up along the solar panels. 8 is pretty decent for small machines, although mediums are a bit better. They output 128, I think. No, wait, let me go back. Okay, I'm confused. But anyway, so there should be... I'm definitely going to hit the compact solars when I get into some of the large EU, particularly the scrap metal production and production of some of the other high-end stuff. The gravity suit, that's another set of armor that I haven't, that I want to try out. The MFFS is purely for shields. I'm not playing multiplayer, so I don't see any need for shields. Direwolf did a wraith spawner with shields, and I don't think I'm going to bother with that. Unless there's something I really need wraiths for. Some of the end game stuff, which he's already done. I think he did as early as like episode 40 or something. But I'm not going to bother with that anytime soon. Nuclear control. If compact solars don't become enough, nuclear control is always an option. I can create one of those. Charge pads, just a way of charging using EU of certain machines. Sets of armor, things like that. Iron chests, like the iron chest and the silver chest and the gold chest, and all that. Another set of power suits or armor. Mistcraft, I've already done that. I'm playing around with it. I'm learning to try to get as many pages as I can so I can create some stable ages. Some minor things that I've just kind of stumbled across, like the libraries and the I don't know what obelisks are. I think they're just the stack of obsidian blocks. So a lot of stuff in there I haven't quite all figured out, but we are playing with it currently, so that's something we're currently playing with. Obsidian plates, that's those plates that you can generate, or that you could build, that just 2 obsidian blocks, and their player, only players can, send the signal to open doors and stuff. Omni tools, something I have no idea about. Omni wrench and Ford's lexicon. It just improves compatibility between mods. Omni wrench. Reduces many mod-specific tools and combines them. So it's basically an Industrial Craft 2 and Buildcraft wrench all in one. Oh, and it's a crescent hammer. It's a precision sledgehammer, and it's a Railcraft crowbar. Also used for rotating vanilla blocks, for example, being logs. Huh. Sure, it's been around for a while, but I have never. Also works as a lossless mode electric wrench. Very cool. That means I assume I wouldn't have to charge it. Removing a block along with everything. So, ooh, that's not good. You can accidentally remove a safe. The way these personal safes work, you should be able to remove them unless they're empty. Ouch. You can't use them to remove glass fiber. They destroy them. Okay. I like it. Alright. I might build one of those. Omni wrenches. Cool. And Ford's lexicon allows you to convert items from one version to another without using any energy or fuel. It can also be used to convert useful disks from any type to another. You can convert. What are the recipes for this? Shift clicking. I'll have to figure this out. What your conversions can be. What can be converted into what? I'll have to figure out how this is done. It could be a way of getting copper, or when I need it. So so I like that mod. I'll have to try both of those out. Omni tilt mod, cool. Railcraft. A couple things I would normally try and use with Railcraft, I've kind of been able to bypass, like their tanks, the iron tanks that require steel. I can get around that with using the Zycraft tanks, I think, pretty well, although the Zycrafts are a little buggy. The Steve's cart that's a part of Railcraft, Direwolf used to create a wood farm, and I've done a wood farm without it using forestry, and I think it works just as well. I've got more output than I need. I've got barrels of over 50 stacks worth of, saplings, and I've got I've got more output than it outputs more than I need, so it's cool. I don't think I need to go the Steve Cart way of creating a tree farm, although I kind of wanted to try it. It just seems like I would be copying something he already did. But some of these other ones, they're mainly just like transporting stuff or stuff I could do in other ways. So, other than the tank, I don't see any reason to get into Railcraft. I've got the portals, so I could use portals. The Railcraft would be a cool way of moving from one place to another, but with portals it's instant. Red Power 2, I've done a lot of Red Power 2. This doesn't exactly describe what all Red Power 2 has in it, but such as the wires and the redstone wires, the jacketed wires, the filters, the timers, the sorting machines, the electricity cells and batteries and all that other stuff. I've done a lot of Red Power 2. There isn't too much in Red Power 2 that I don't normally do. What I don't normally do, there's an electric version of an alloy furnace I haven't never really done, just because the regular alloy furnace is fine for me. But there's not too much Red Power 2 I haven't done either here or in the past. Okay, that's just the mini map. Steve Carts I mentioned does a lot of cool stuff. soul shards. Direwolf used soul shards to create spawners, although some of the spawners he's already created I kind of have access to just with my portal gun. I could pick them up and move them. And I didn't put this on video, but I brought one of those, what's the one that you get, a blaze. I brought a blaze spawner through, and I brought it into my basement, and the blaze spawned in my lit basement, and it kind of blew up one of my barrels. It was kind of hilarious. So I had to beat down a bunch of blazes and push the spawner back through into the nether just because I didn't want blazes running around my basement. So that's like, I guess, would be considered a tier 5 spawner that I was able to bring in just using the portal gun. So I might eventually set up a blaze farm just by bringing in one of the blaze spawners rather than doing the whole 100+ blaze kills soul shard setup. It seems a bit overkill to try to go that way if I could just use the portal gun. And you've seen I've even collected several portal guns just by visiting some of the, I don't know if it's some of the Thumbcraft sites, I guess they're considered Thumbcraft. It's hard to tell what's a Mistcraft site and what's a Thumbcraft site that are generated around the world. But, yeah, I've picked up a couple of them. So I'll definitely look to use it to move the spawner, create spawners, because that's pretty nice. I do a blaze farm one, and then potentially a skeleton one, but I just haven't got around to doing it yet. Thumbcraft, huge mod, lots of stuff. It's got a really big requirement up front. It's a lot of upfront resources because you have to throw stuff into resources at it to create to learn recipes. Then of course the recipes themselves have a lot of resources involved with them, and you could do a lot of damage to your immediate area and a lot of widespread damage when you try out these recipes. So I'm thinking if I do start to do some Thumbcraft, I might do it in a completely other age, one that's really nice and stable. So if I do mess it up, I'm not messing up the age where bulk of my stuff is, like in the overworld. So I might do a separate age for Thumbcraft, so if I do get messy, I don't have to worry about it. I can just let the aura get really bad and corrupted and stuff, and I don't have to worry about it. But there's a ton of stuff in there. A couple of stuff that I want to try out and want to do. Like the Brandon jar was kind of cool, though. Direwolf didn't end up using it for all of his spawners, but it was a cool thing. The warded blocks were cool for when he was creating his nuclear power, and I might use that too if I get to Thumbcraft before I need the EU of that setup. And then the golems were super cool. I think it's probably the coolest part of it. Although you get a lot of cool spawns of trees that you could use for various things. The goggles are almost a requirement, but you have to get pretty far into Thumbcraft before you can make them, which is kind of weird. They make some tools with them. Wands. The wands are really cool too. It's probably one of the first things I want to play around with when I get into it, because I like the use of ranged weapons, but a ranged weapon that doesn't require ammo is a really nice idea. So I'll be making some wands for sure. So Thumbcraft is definitely in the future. Bees again. I've seen him do the bees, and although it's a cool toy to play with, and you get some cool things as you get to the end of bees, where you've got a whole bunch of bees and you can genetically engineer bees to do stuff for you, like give you emeralds. Until you get to that point, it just seems like a lot of work and resources, and creating of automated systems and stuff, which I might do just to keep me busy. Busy bees. But it'll do that. I'll do that when I really don't have much else to do. It's just a cool way for farming some resources. Twilight Forest, I definitely want to play around with. I love the monsters and stuff that are there that I've seen Direwolf, you know, play through. So I'll be looking to do that. The Xeno is kind of interesting. It's a lot of cool tools and, you know, stuff that's in here. Kind of unique to itself and not much any other mod. So I'll be trying some of that stuff out too. I might pick like 1 or 2 mods to do next episode. We'll see. And of course, the Zycraft, I've pretty much done everything Zycraft. I've done the corn, I'm not sure if I've done too much in the way of aluminum. I think I created some aluminum of these things. I've created a couple of these things. I filled it with water early on when I wanted to do steam engines and needed water, and I made a couple of those, but I've got so much aluminum now. I don't even know what to do with, other than creating aluminum cans. Although these torches, I have no idea what these torches do. Oh, they produce a light level 15! Wow. And it's an upgraded version of the sulfur torch. So I guess this is a sulfur torch? Huh. Alright, so sulfur torch light emitting item from Zycraft mod made using Zycraft sulfur on a stick. Sulfur torches produce more light than vanilla torches, but they also randomly produce sulfur goo. Alright. And is sulfur seeded, or is it a byproduct, or sulfur ore and ore generated by railcraft, but it's world generated, or sulfur thermal expansion is occasionally created when sulfur ore, nether, or blaze rods are placed in a pulverizer. What? What's sulfur ore? Alright, well, I hope this is world generated, but I haven't come across any sulfur. I don't think. Sulfur dust can be created by placing sulfur ore in a rock. Well, sulfur is part of the second mod and is made by smelting gunpowder in a 1:1 ratio. So I could use gunpowder. Oh, I've got tons of gunpowder. Alright. Let's see, I've got over 2 stacks of gunpowder. So I might create some sulfur torches and then upgrade them to aluminum ones. And use that to do most of my lighting then. Because it seems a lot simpler than the inverted, which is kind of a pain in the butt in comparison to make. So, yeah, cool. That's why I go through these. Every once in a while I'll go through these things and look for cool stuff. So, that's really cool, and I definitely want to do it. So, yeah. That's Zycraft. I've done, like I said, most of the tanks and the valves and all of that comes with it. Fabricator, then the multi-tanks. And they've got some really cool stuff down the road, ways of transporting or transferring power from one place to another. It looks really super cool. But for now, that's kind of the stuff that I'm excited about and I want to try. And some of the things that I mentioned that I'm not going to bother with either right now or at all. Just so you have an idea where I'm going to be heading. So, yeah, it's been a while. It's a 45-minute episode. I really didn't build anything. But I just wanted to say all that so that you guys know where I'm heading now. Because I've kind of been spinning my wheels, running around in circles, looking for things to do. And I just wanted to take a look and you know, figure out what's cool and what I want to try. And let you in on it so that you have an idea of what to expect. So thanks for watching. It's Most Wanted. My Feed to Beast Companion series. If you guys thought, you know, some of the changes I made on the sorting system were cool, let me know. And let me know what you thought about my ramblings. Should I not create episodes that ramble? because I really thought it would be a good idea to tell you guys what I plan on doing in the next episodes. Even though I don't have a lot of followers, if someone's watching this, down the road, they know what to expect in the coming episodes, that they'll be able to quick stream right away. So thanks for watching. If you guys thought it was all helpful or entertaining or anything like that, please like the video. If you have any questions or comments or ideas, either on how I set this up, or if you see any problems with it, or you have any ideas how I might be able to improve it, then please let me know in the feedback. And thanks for watching.